We welcome you to Soccer County, where a pair of squads hunting their first league victories of the season lock horns. It is Westchester hosting the New Kids in Corpus Christi, and tonight's match is presented by Northwell Health. Alongside Ryan Davis, Sam Goldfarb here, and Ryan, a winless start for Westchester. Defensive woes, the familiar name of the game.
Coach Jokai, their coach, is one of the romantics in the sport, and he wants his players to push forward and try to find goals. By trying to find goals, you leave yourself susceptible in the back. However, they create enough chances to provide entertainment and maybe tip the scales as the season goes on.
Has been an entertaining start to the year. The question is, can they tighten things up? We'll find out if that trend starts tonight against a Corpus Christi side that has flashed moments going forward. If it is to change, this man, the Open Cup hero Matias Molina, may have a say.
He's so good with the ball at his feet and with his distribution. And as an Argentine, he has the DNA of being a penalty stopper. He's one of those players that can get this team moving when the ball gets into his hands, and there's so much confidence in him tonight in goal.
It's his second start of the season. He takes on a Corpus Christi side that has featured many late goals across the board, but 2 goals allowed in the final 10 minutes.
And those goals in the final 10 minutes spells one thing: a lack of fitness. When the legs go, the head goes, the concentration goes, and then you concede goals and make mistakes. I think as the season wears on and that fitness comes into play, that problem will be snuffed out.
And between the sticks for them, they do have a standout. James Talbot was beaten here at the death against Omaha last Saturday, but one of the top save makers in USL League One.
He's an organizer. He commands his box. He has that type of experience. Also a shot stopper with 15 saves. The backline has so much confidence when he's in goal that it bleeds into the rest of the team. He has that kind of impact on the side.
We'll see how he fares against a Westchester squad that has had success going forward. Well, it is just about time to get things underway here from Mount Vernon. It is Westchester and Corpus Christi for the first time ever. Stick with us. Lineups and kickoff next when we return.
$300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health, so we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where we are just about set for kickoff between Westchester SC and Corpus Christi FC. Tonight's match presented by Northwell Health. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on hand. Time to get a look at our starting lineups presented by RXR Realty, and it's 3 changes from the Open Cup Shootout Thriller Wednesday.
And Molina being one of those coming back into goal, so important. Noah Powder back at left back. What about Jimenez, a created left-wing player who can create chances for Evans and Burko going forward?
Jimenez and Tinchenko did not feature Wednesday night. They're both back in the 11. This is a squad with plenty of young talent from around the Westchester area. Their counterparts, they make 3 changes from last week's defeat against Omaha.
Yeah, actually, Jacob Keegan, Kwakwa, players coming back into the midfield should give them some bite in midfield, maybe some counter-pressing as well. Cerritos has to be the playmaker to create chances for Medina and Bowen coming around him. The number 10 is instrumental in the last third.
And important to note, no Christian Cheney, the USL League One's second all-time leading goal scorer, not in the squad. As we wait our referee signal to get everything underway. Corpus Christi and Westchester for the first time ever, and it is live from Westchester County. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis bringing you all of the action tonight. Slightly overcast evening in early April. It was raining earlier today, but it seems that subsided for a good night for football in the Northeast. Here's Bubu Medina, who scored twice in the opening 3 matches for Corpus Christi FC.
So important for Westchester to try to boss this game from early, try to get on the front foot. They've tasted victory already this season in the Open Cup. They're full of confidence. Can they translate those Open Cup wins into the league this year?
Still hunting that first league victory. Remember, a year ago, it did take them a bit of time to get their feet under them, and then they went through that prolonged winless rut that lasted into the summer and effectively ruled them out of playoff contention. But this year's squad a bit more organized across the board. George Jokai emphasizing the importance of balance at all times.
Yeah, and you know what? It all starts in the midfield, though. Evans is one of those players, we talked about balance. He can pull out wide or he can come through the middle. I think he's going to provide that difference for 2026. All eyes on Evans. But also in the middle of the park, we have Artemas, who really has to provide that sort of orchestrator, general type of attitude to control things for Coach Jokai this season.
Already is a Corpus Christi player down, 90 seconds in. Well, that's an unfortunate sight this early into a fixture.
Question is, was it during an interaction or was it off the ball? I mean, the off the ball injuries are usually the worst in this sport rather than an interaction between 2 players.
Right now it appears Alexis Cerritos' head or neck is being tended to by the physios.
And we just featured Cerritos talking about how important he is in trying to be part of the game. And
actually not Cerritos, he's still on the pitch. There is a player being helped off though. Seems to be some blood.
Maybe an inadvertent forearm or elbow when the ball was in the air.
Either way, Cerritos is still out there, so he will be leading the line. Looked to occur right around the position Cerritos was occupying prior to that point. Here's Evans. Powder.
You know, we just saw them get back possession. That was all Timchenko. He plays like a sweeper for this team. He reads the game so well. He put his head in there. They won the ball back. It allows them to get back control of the game, or get possession rather. That's how important Timchenko is back in that lineup.
Talking to George Jokai early in the season, he mentioned how Timchenko is the leader of that back line. Someone who plays a key role in the heart of defense, joining the club after finishing his accomplished college career at Iona College, which is in upstate New York. This is switched wide, and Westchester venturing forward for the first time tonight. McGlynn.
Changing the point of attack quickly allows players to buy some space. We always say a soccer player loves one thing, space.
Plenty on that far side for Noah Powder to occupy.
Noah Powder is a dribbler. If you could get a chance to go 1v1 with the left back, that's going to pose a lot of problems to Corpus Christi tonight.
Important to note, Corpus Christi still temporarily down to 10 because Blake Bowen is still on the touchline, dealing with the after effects of that shot to the head. McGlynn. Powder, a low cross in. It's broken up briefly by Keeney, but not dealt with. And Jennings lays it off. That was always rising from Armas. Well, fans, it's now time for our injury report presented by Northwell Health. And none reported for Westchester so far tonight, although this is a squad that has been depleted, starting to get some bodies back in the form of Jimenez and Timchenko.
That's always a good report when nobody's on it. But I tell you what, tonight with all their full lineup, everyone at their disposal, it is a great time for Westchester to really put some pressure on Corpus Christi and find that first win for 2026.
We were here last month. As you see, Talbot is working off what appeared to be a minor tweak, where they started so fast. Gene Guzan inside the first minute against Charlotte and nearly saw that out for what would have been a first league clean sheet of the season. And unfortunately for them, it unraveled at the death, but they're still right there amongst a lot of these top teams in the league. That's a Charlotte side that just battered Spokane 4-0 last week. So it is not a squad that is to be taken lightly. So you already see Ayman Zayed's being forced to contemplate some things, with Blake Bowen still on the touchline. There's your look at Talbot, someone who joined the club this winter after spending 7 seasons in Ireland with Bohemians. He's a product of the Sunderland Academy, so the quality is evident.
Not only the quality, but it's also a lot colder in Ireland. But he's come to the right place to play up in the Northeast.
This is Keeney, another Irish player. Ayman Zayed has recruited a few of those as someone who's very experienced in Ireland himself. Played years there as a player.
Republican Ireland and Northern Ireland did not qualify for the World Cup in the US this summer. Bit of a disappointment for the Irish.
Especially heartbreaking for the Republic of Ireland.
Yes.
This is sprayed long towards Cerritos, who does get there. Cerritos is onside. Lays it back off to Keegan, who can't quite curl it into the far corner, but that a very promising break.
Well, the centre-back, we just raved about Timchenko, but he was caught a little too high up, and Cerritos just darted in behind him. And Cerritos, with that tight control, you can understand what he was trying to do. He tried to lay it off, and a curling shot in the end, not too far off, but you can understand what the old crafty number 10 was trying to pull off in the attacking third.
To your point, this is a pretty young, relatively inexperienced Westchester squad. Not too many returners from a year ago, and so as a result, they are still trying to piece everything together, and there is maybe some evidence of naivete at times. So plenty of talent on display as Evans clatters right into the back of Keeney.
Now this is perfect for Corpus Christi. Anytime Westchester, who has ball handlers, who has skilled players, whenever they get impatient and they go long, Corpus Christi likes nothing better. And Coach Jokai, the last thing he wants to see is his team give up cheap possession to Corpus Christi, a side that's struggling to put things together.
Early in the season, the primary thing he mentioned was defending transition moments, being balanced, as this cross is knocked away by Bowen, who is back on the pitch. But he mentioned the importance of always having bodies behind the ball, spoke to us about a 5-and-5 approach, where 5 will be behind the ball at all times to stymie transitions, and then the other 5 able to get a little more creative and try to see what they can conjure in the final third.
I love that. I mean, he has one eye on attack and one eye on defense all the time, which means goals are on the top of his mind. And that's what makes Coach Jokai and this Westchester team so much fun to look at.
Here's Timchenko, who looks long. Burko, a soft touch that runs right back to Pearson Fuso.
And if they are going to be direct, Burko has a huge responsibility to be the target man, to be the target forward, and to lay off balls for powder all evening long.
He's flashed an ability to do that this season. Someone who's pretty tall physical presence at Hofstra, especially last season, was a goal-scoring savant. We've seen a budding partnership with him and Kyle Evans. As this cross from Medina finds its way to Dickerson. Knocked ahead by Langlois, one of the 4 former Northern Colorado Hailstorm players under Ayman Zayed's tutelage that now plays for Corpus Christi. Cerritos. Infuso. Bowen. top chance creator on this Corpus Christi side. He's dispossessed by Max Jennings. Cheaply given away, though. Bowen cuts it back to Keegan, who has room to cross. No one there to greet that. Evans looking to navigate out of danger.
I'm really looking forward to that Bowen-Jennings matchup this evening. I mean, Bowen is so crafty and he loves to cross. Excellent providing service from the sides. But Jennings, his defensive range is so good up and down the field from the half line all the way to the byline by him. He can defend that space like nobody's business. So I think Bowen is going to have a hard time getting past Jennings tonight. However, if he does, the type of service by Bowen could be game-changing.
Pair of former MLS Next Pro guys battling. Blake Bowen spent the first 3 years of his career there. Max Jennings last season with Real Monarchs. Didn't cross past, though, because one was in the Eastern Conference last year and one was in the West. So this is the first time they're meeting as professionals on the pitch. Here's Evans, who's roaming wide now. He's right into the brick wall that is Keeney.
Here's the problem. He didn't put too much pressure on the defender for him to go over, but as soon as Evans extended his arms, the referee has no choice but to blow the whistle because he can't tell how much pressure he's putting on the person's back.
Well, fans catch every heart-pounding moment at Westchester's home stadium at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. 2026 season tickets are on sale now, offering flexible payment plans, priority access, discounts, invites to exclusive events, and much more. Don't miss out on an unforgettable season of fun, friends, community, and soccer. Visit westchestersc.com to become a 2026 season ticket member today.
What a beautiful night, though, for soccer, though. Clear, crisp. You can see the fans completely enjoying the atmosphere. And then to have two teams, especially Westchester, who want to push forward and get goals, it's just pure entertainment.
It is your classic northeastern night. Temperatures fringing on 50 degrees, but the rain has held off, and we have a nice clear night for football. Here at the stadium at Memorial Field, a historic 3,900 seat venue that is best known for the famous Coca-Cola commercial that featured Mean Joe Green back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Burko dispossesses his man here, and he charges forward, lays it off to Evans! Quality save from Talbot, and then Burko skies it. And that a huge chance for Westchester to open the scoring.
I love the adventure by Burko. He was being aggressive. He drew the defender to him. And as soon as the defender came, he saw Evans in his peripheral, right into the path of Evans. He opened up his hips. Didn't open it up too much. Straight to eventually straight to Talbot. But the follow-up by Burko, I'll tell you something. Somebody in Rosie just got a prize.
That's a souvenir.
Yes.
It's that interchange, though, between Burko and Evans that George Jokai has spoken about. Those two as the backbone of his attack, and you're starting to see that manifest these last few matches.
And with Evans being that agile, quick forward supporting Burko, it can make all the difference.
Well, George Jokai's opposite number is an experienced veteran of this league, Ayman Zayed. Good to have him back in the league after a year off. Best known, of course, for his 3 seasons with Northern Colorado Hailstorm, and what a job he did. Back-to-back Coach of the Year finalist, and in 2024 bringing home silverware for the Hailstorm as well. It is just good to have someone like him back in the league, someone who is known for building successful clubs from the ground up.
And he understands what this Corpus Christi team needs. They're a brand new team, like we spoke about. You always build from the foundation, move up. They haven't found the roofers yet with the forwards and the goals, but they want to be defensively strong.
This is forward for Bowen. The referee plays advantage. Bowen with room to cross, headed into the path of McGlynn. Westchester can clear their lines. Burko chasing. He does get there, but their center back was waiting for him. Ayman Zayed, known for the foundation of his team being compactness. He mentioned that with us early in the year, but he's also talked about the desire to attack out wide. You look at his track record with fullbacks especially. It is impressive. As Evans runs into a thicket of defenders. It's run down by Alexi Armas. Jimenez.
Oh,
clever from Powder, isn't it?
Now you want the injection of pace as the ball has been switched from one side to the other.
This is Samori Powder, the brother of Noah Powder. And now Noah Powder again.
He's very much an inverted type of left back, which allows Jimenez that space out wide.
Jimenez looking to take that space down just outside the area. And the referee will point. Should be a free kick in a rather appetizing spot.
The players want to know which line it is, the white, the orange, or the yellow. And Jimenez just right on top of that 18-yard box picks up the foul. Now it's a chance for a dead ball scenario just to the left of the D. And if there's a crafty right footer.
Well, how about this? They've given a penalty. So they say the contact did occur inside the box. And that sets up Connor McGlynn from the spot. And it appears everyone is shocked in the venue, including the players.
Well, I guess it's not the yellow line, it's the white line. And that's where he was brought down inside. If the yellow line is not it, that means the yellow line, he was 3 or 4 yards in the 18-yard box. And thus, a penalty, absolutely.
Everybody's been fooled by the lines there, including us.
Yeah, referee, players, everyone.
Sets up McGlynn from 12 yards. He's 2 of 2 this season. And he drives it in. Westchester opens the scoring 16 minutes in.
Incredible technique by McGlynn, and it's something we expect from him. This was Jimenez just nibbling on that far side, and the Westchester fans are waving the flags as Connor McGlynn, their leader. Here's Jimenez coming across. He gets the better of his defender, and eventually Shannon Gomez, the Trinidad and Tobago right back, brings down Jimenez. And look at McGlynn. Looks left, then goes right, and gives Talbot no chance. Even if he picked the right side, had the pace, had the placement to execute.
Connor McGlynn has been exceptional from the spot all year long. Converted a penalty against One Knox, did so in the shootout on Wednesday night in the US Open Cup second round against Vermont Green. And he opens the scoring here from 12 yards on 16 minutes. Westchester 1, Corpus Christi 0, and it is the captain with a captain's penalty. And now they look long, hunting more carnage. This is Evans, who's strolling forward, has options in the area. It's laid across, and it's 2 in rapid succession for Westchester. Jimenez on the score sheet, and Westchester is flying.
Well, the flags are flying, and as they should. Coach Jokai wants attacking players. He wants flair, and flair is what we're getting tonight. Evans, who's the number 10, he doesn't have the number 10 on his back, but he plays on the left side, the right side, wherever the action is. Look at the one-time pass, Sam, right in the corridor of uncertainty. And there to tuck it home was Jimenez.
It is a well-taken goal, and Westchester 2-0 to the good.
Well, if they get the first one, it breeds confidence in the rest of the side. And then it also invites Corpus Christi to come forward to try and get a goal to equalize. They make space with the room, sorry, they make the use of the space. And you have to say Evans' quick thinking and accuracy of pass. I tell you what, thing of beauty.
They cut Corpus Christi like a knife through butter, cut him up like a knife through butter. Here's a through ball. Corpus Christi looking for a response. It's blocked away. Evans onto it. Jonathan Jimenez moments ago making it 2-0 after the rapid break immediately following the tally from Connor McGlynn. And just like that, Westchester with a multi-goal advantage, their first multi-goal lead of the season. Jonathan Jimenez, someone who's best known for his time with New York City FC2. Last season moving to Hartford Athletic, saw his role fluctuate quite a bit, and now on loan from the USL Championship side and making a name for himself with Westchester.
Well, what a night to get your first USL League One goal for 2026. It's a night in which his team, Westchester, searching for that first win, now gives them a 2-goal cushion. And they broke with such pace. And for Evans to pick out Jimenez just again off of his peripheral is something special for both players.
This is turned over briefly by Powder. On the subject of Kyle Evans, we spoke to George Jokai, and whenever you talk to George Jokai and you ask him who his standout players are, especially early in the year when you have a roster that's filled with maybe unproven commodities in the professional game, the first player he mentions is Kyle Evans. The quote directly from him was, "I'm shocked we were able to get him at this level of the footballing pyramid." And at 20 years of age, you're seeing Kyle Evans start to blossom in just his second month as a professional.
And here's the thing, Coach Jokai actually played him out wide at one time for the first game of the season against Knoxville. Didn't exactly light up the scoreboard or create much chances. Now he's brought him back in as a legit 10 to play behind Burko. And I tell you what, with his ability to sniff out the ball, Kyle Evans, that is the most useful position you can play him, because he's going to be involved in every single attack, left or right. He's not going to be stuck on one side of the field rather than the other.
His ability to roam is what makes him his best. Cross here from Bowen is headed away. Only as far as Shannon Gomez, who's likely hoping to rectify things after conceding the penalty that led to Westchester's opener. Medina. Flipped forward, bashed out of trouble. And if you are Corpus Christi right now, it has to be about settling onto the ball a touch more, establishing a foothold. They haven't had one through the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, you want to find your identity in this match. Everyone needs to get a touch, get some confidence going. There's still so much football to be played.
Bowen.
He's so tricky.
The whistle sounds again.
And I love the fact that he's wearing the number 2 on his back. You think he's going to be a right back, but no, he's a left winger or left midfielder. But his stopping and his starting, his shiftiness, it's going to be impossible for Jennings to stay in front of him.
He opened the year as a fullback, but leads the team in chances created. And so Ayman Zayed has deployed him with more creative freedom. And you're starting to see the rewards of that.
But when you play this sport, you're supposed to learn every position before you turn pro.
Free kick here that he takes. Molina chasing. Doesn't quite get there. Falls for Medina. Appetizing cross. Cerritos down in the box. Evans can't negotiate out of trouble.
Well, Cerritos certainly was collided into, but I think the defender got piece of the ball first, and then the follow-through caught Cerritos.
Medina gets there first, but the referee's unmoved there. It will be a corner for Corpus Christi, their first of the night. And that corner kick presented by Ice Air, keeping Westchester cool and comfortable.
This is exactly what Corpus Christi needs. Get some players into the box, test Molina. He's not the tallest of goalkeepers, so you want to put this ball sort of lofted to the back post, just to the edge of that 6-yard box.
It's an outswinging ball that McGlynn gets to first. Evans can't quite win that foot race. Just see his running, constant work rate out of possession. George Jokai mentioning he wanted to bring in players that were both going to be available for long spells of time and going to cover ground with certainty. And Kyle Evans has provided both of that on the young campaign. Here's Cerritos for Corpus Christi. Floated forward. Bowen has been the centerpiece of the Sharks going forward. It's a dipping cross that is headed back into the mix. Timchenko away.
The ability of Bowen to buy himself some time and then can hit any pass on the field. He picked out the runner at the back post. What a great delivery. It caught the back line completely by surprise. Just the header didn't land on a blue shirt's foot, but the cross by Bowen is special.
It's definitely set the world alight for a Corpus Christi side that has underwhelmed through the opening 25 minutes or so. Keep in mind, this is a squad that is in its first year as a professional outfit, as we mentioned, have spent years in the USL League Two ranks, but Ayman Zayed forced to put together a squad from the ground up, featuring some players that did feature in League Two with this Corpus Christi side, but many other players who are League One veterans, and also players from abroad that he's looked to blend in here as well. So it is definitely a gelling situation where they're still looking to find their best 11. They have performed well and shown resilience despite not winning a match in league play. As Evans plays this forward and just undercooks it for Jimenez. while there are some familiar faces in this Corpus Christi team, there are some newcomers as well that are still looking to adapt. Here's one of those newcomers in Roscoe. Langlois. Medina. Cerritos. Burko. McGlynn. Well, keep in mind, Ryan, it is the age-old stat, but last year Westchester dropping a league record 38 points from winning positions.
Here he comes.
They've already dropped 2 this year, although they have played more secure with leads when you factor in the Open Cup result against New York Renegades.
I think eventually you have to learn your lesson, right? You've been bitten by the bug so many times in the past. Coach Jokai knows exactly what everyone else is thinking. So I think he's going to continue to play his way. It's still so early in the match to change your style or your DNA. You're going to continue playing that way, but I think the discussion is going to come up at halftime to sort of manage the game. And manage the game does not mean being defensive. It means your passes have to have a purpose. Do not take chances and go diagonal with the ball, give it away, and people are out of position to defend. You want to play secure passes to the right or the left, and then if the pass is given away, you already have people inside ready to defend.
Well, fans, the USL on the CBS Sports Network kicks off on April 18th with an Eastern Conference showdown. Charleston Battery takes on fast start Tampa Bay Rowdies at 3 p.m. Eastern. Catch all of the action on the CBS Sports Network on April 18th. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on a hand from Westchester County, where the home side off to a dream start in its pursuit of its first league victory of the year. And if they can see this out, what a week it would be, prevailing on penalties at Vermont Green on Wednesday in a hostile environment in the U.S. Open Cup. Set up a date with New York City FC in a week's time and change, and then they could get a result here and notch their first league victory. It would be a massive 7 days for George Jokai.
You know, those cup games that are midweek are an absolute joy for clubs. It allows the entire roster to get in. And if you're suffering in one league or cup, a performance like that in the midweek cup can bleed in to the weekend league game. And we're seeing that tonight. We look at Evans. Everyone looks so sharp for Westchester tonight after that grueling, knock him out, drag him out, 120-minute game midweek.
Keep in mind, this is the third match in 6 days for Westchester as well. So the fact that they look this sharp is very impressive.
It means you get a chance to simulate, play more live action rather than in practice.
Jimenez sprinting at Gomez and bypasses him, clips a cross in. Nearly fell for McGlynn. Instead, the whistle sounds against Westchester.
Well, Jimenez this time deciding to go to his left foot rather than cutting on his right. And excellent defending in the end by Corpus Christi. They were compact, they were waiting for the ball to come in, anticipated it, and won it fair and square.
You have to wonder what's going through his mind at the moment. He spent so much time emphasizing the importance of compactness. His squads have been known for that, but so far they've looked shaky at the back.
Well, I think you want to win the midfield, and I think as of right now, despite them having more possession than Westchester, right now is 55-45 in favor of Corpus Christi, but they've had more of the meaningful possession, Westchester, in the fact that they break up the play, be direct, they get behind the back line, as we saw with Jimenez. As for Corpus Christi being down 2-0, the hill is pretty steep because the other team now is deciding, I don't have to push that many white shirts forward. I can sit behind, not getting a shell, but just be mindful of the amount of players you're pushing forward.
It's important that you bring up that point because Ayman Zayed was asked early in the season what his impressions were of League One during his year off. And he mentioned that a lot more teams are playing without possession. Teams are more keen to sit back, not necessarily park the bus or absorb pressure, but just spend time out of possession, remain organized, and then catch teams on the break. And when you look at the movement throughout the league a year ago, teams like Chattanooga Red Wolves, who were in the Players' Shield hunt for the entirety of the season, who had a league record in terms of low possession numbers, it is an interesting trend.
I believe the stat is, if the ball is given away just past the center circle in that mid-block range, and you can counter with that, I believe getting goals is 65% of goals are scored that way in this sport in general, despite whatever league you play in. So having that ability not only to play coy, but to pressure in that area and turn the ball over in that area.
Here's a ball in. It's headed back across and eventually reaches Talbot.
It gives you a really good chance to then counter, either go out wide and come back in, or go direct and get a shot on goal.
It is interesting, that mention as well, because other League One coaches have mentioned the New York Red Bull study, when goals are most likely 8 seconds after a giveaway in midfield.
Yeah.
It's a common thread of thinking amongst many of the coaches in this league, with the exception of Brian Claben at AV Alta, who's playing a very possession-based style and setting league records in terms of high possession numbers.
I want to be careful when I say this. Someone like Conor McGlenn is a great talent. So too Evans, fantastic talents. However, they may not be the norm. They may be the exception. So what happens in the middle of the park, if you don't have great ball handlers, you're going to have very workmanlike, efficient players who can tackle, get behind the ball, but not very good at maneuvering the ball in the middle of the park. And that's a huge responsibility if the ball is given away. We just talked about the stat of the ball being turned over in that area. So they'd rather you have the ball, we will counter-attack on you. And you can understand why coaches, if they don't have an Evans or a McGlenn, have that philosophy.
It's a very interesting point. And tonight, case in point, because Westchester scored off of a counterattack directly originating from a giveaway. They're trying to navigate through trouble here, and Kyle Evans is just weaving a web of lies at the moment. He's got someone in the book already. Yellow card given to Corpus Christi. Looks like Enoch Kwakwa in the book.
Well, the young creative midfielder can go out wide. He can play through the middle of the park. 2 blue shirts around him, keeps possession, splits the 2. Shirts being tugged. And you get the picture back home of what Kyle Evans and his sort of riot he can inflict on a team.
Shannon Gomez is in the book.
Former Trinidad and Tobago national player.
And another appetizing spot for a free kick here. It's right in the mix and right at Talbot.
Gomez, his attributes is usually as a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. Plays a wing back or a wide midfielder. Yes, he can play a conventional fullback, but defense is not his main strength.
Here's Bowen. He's been the most impressive player for Corpus Christi thus far tonight. Infuso, former League Two standout with the Sharks a year ago. Gomez hunting the run of Medina. Does keep this in play. Just hunting an angled across. Noah Powder tracking him step for step. Well, a yellow card is out. And it's one that occurs away from the ball.
Well, we already saw an injury early on tonight with an inadvertent either hand, elbow, or forearm to a player's face. I believe it was Medina, and there was blood drawn at the beginning of the match. I believe the first couple of minutes. So the referee is keeping a close eye, even if the ball is not in the vicinity of players pushing, shoving, and hugging.
We'll see what kind of long throw they have in their locker here, if they opt for that. And they don't. Cerritos navigating into the area, flashing it across. Samori Powder first to it. To your point, very organized out of possession. Now Daniel Burko, the only player really even right around midfield.
I was going to say, it's a lonely, lonely position to be the target man when your team is sitting back. You're literally on an island with 2 centre-backs on either shoulder, and you're trying to hold possession for your side as they try to push forward. Not easy.
Approaching the final 10 minutes of the first half. Corpus Christi, the League One expansion club, trailing. Bubu Medina looking to establish some uncertainty in that, but Alexi Armas is there to clean up the danger in one of his first league starts of the year. Another free kick for Corpus Christi, though, and you would fancy their chances most on a set piece like this one. Who else but Blake Bowen to stand over this?
Boy, do they need something from this set piece.
Floated into the court of uncertainty. Medina did get a touch to it, but it just ricocheted.
Oh, beautifully done.
Kwakwa might have taken a touch out of play.
Love the idea. A little chip to get past the defender's challenge. But again, Bowen's ball across the back post was full of quality. He was asking questions as he came through the air when the centre-backs and the rest of Westchester were facing their own goal.
Well, fans, don't miss your chance to be part of history with Westchester's first professional soccer club. Season tickets start at just $15 per game, bringing you world-class action at an unbeatable value. Visit westchestersc.com to learn more and lock in your seats for the 2026 season. 2026 Westchester SC season tickets are on sale now. You can join the 914th Infantry, the rapidly growing supporters group of Westchester SC, which I'm hearing made the trek to Vermont to watch the Open Cup fixture against Vermont Green on Wednesday night. Now here they are on Saturday watching the action at home.
I love it. Passion. And you can't teach that passion. That just comes organically. And the fact that this football club and this community can get behind their team so quickly is incredible.
Here's another break forward. Evans again, clipping it back to Jimenez, and that fortunately rolled back to Talbot. Could have gone anywhere, but the deflection benefited the goalkeeper.
Well, it looks like Jimenez may have lost his footing. Look at Evans again, toying. And I believe the ricochet coming through the defender's legs may have thrown Jimenez off just a tad. But you really want to see players finish in that area, Sam.
If you're Corpus Christi, how do you even stabilize this? Because every time it seems like they have some positive momentum going forward, Westchester just unlocks them the other way. As there is a late challenge there, and perhaps the perpetrator, and Keegan is fortunate to escape a yellow card. Timchenko looking long for Burko. It's headed away craftily by Talbot. Kwakwa navigating out of pressure well.
In 8 minutes' time, when the first half is blown off, I'm pretty sure that Coach Zaidi will get a chance to regroup. We always call the second half the coach's half. And he does have Kaheem Thomas at his disposal, a right winger that can create some havoc, similar to like what Medina does on that left-hand side for Westchester. So it'll be interesting to see how long he holds Thomas at bay.
Perhaps the introduction of a creative X factor like Thomas could change the trajectory of things here. Keep in mind, Christian Cheney, the second all-time leading goal scorer in USL League One, not in the squad tonight after featuring in the first 3 matches. He's someone that was brought in by Ayman Zayed, presumably with the purpose of scoring goals, but has yet to open his account for his new club. So the onus will fall on the likes of Cerritos and others to supply goals. Maybe Jake Keegan as well, who's top 6 in league history in goals. Bowen. Just seems to be no way through this Westchester back line. Maybe some now. Gomez, high cross. Bowen looking to knock it back across the face. Now in Fuso. McGlynn finally away.
Well, the final ball, that final product, just doesn't seem to be there. Gomez was stretched. He just tried to loft the ball to the last post. Once Fuzon got into attack, it seemed like a defender in a forward's position. The ball in was just very low quality. So I think that final ball in has to be a question mark for this Corpus Christi team.
It does appear they're lacking that touch of inspiration or magic in the final third so far tonight. This is carried forward by Keaty. Medina. Gomez, first time cross.
That's better.
Falls for Bowen. Infuso joining the attack yet again. Bowen onto his right. It falls kindly for Medina. And let Powder and company get in the way. And Evans off to the races the other direction. And this is the last sight anyone in blue wants to see at the moment.
But what about Timothy Timchenko standing in the way of Bowen and heading out the shot to protect his goalkeeper, who is the, let's just say, not making his debut, but he's not the regular. Molina getting a chance to play tonight, the Argentine, and Timchenko, the sweeper, doing his best to make his keeper have a comfortable landing in this first half.
He was immense against Vermont on Wednesday, but that downplays the quality of Andrew Hammersley in what was a 4-2 defeat Sunday at Greenville, but he made 11 saves in that fixture. So
it was backs against forwards, basically.
Exactly, and by no means has Hammersley lost the job. George Jokai's mentioned that this is a open competition, but it is an important opportunity for Molina to establish himself. Final 5 minutes of this first half. And as things stand, a pair of goals separated by just 2 minutes make the difference. Connor McGlynn from the spot on 16 minutes. Jonathan Jimenez on the counterattack on 18 minutes. See those numbers on your screen. Goal scoring has not been the issue for Westchester. It's been defensive woes that have cost them through the first 3 league matches.
And we love it as spectators, but the coach drives them crazy and unable to hold a lead. Gomez, good delivery.
It was just about scrambled away. Here's Burko.
Shannon Gomez, very much that modern fullback, like a poor man's Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's so comfortable with the ball at his feet, but going backwards certainly is not his strength.
And you've seen the issues defensively because Jonathan Jimenez has had a lot of success against him.
Exactly.
This is turned over. Cerritos forced to the byline, and he does win a corner for Corpus Christi.
Well, perfect scenario for Corpus Christi now, just before the half. Get a chance to push up players like Roscoe and Kinney to maybe try to nod one in, and with this man delivering, that is very much in play.
Can they conjure a lifeline before halftime?
You would like to see this ball whipped with pace to the near post and maybe get a flick on a touch.
With in swing, it's not dealt with and still loose. Man down in the area. The referee didn't see it, and Westchester does enough. Ball certainly had some menace to it, though.
Now Infuso is throwing with the wind at his back, so it's going to help out with his delivery.
They go short again.
Not that that makes any difference with the short throw.
They're setting up like they're going to go long, and then they don't.
Now this position, I always talk about this in football, it's very, very awkward for the attacking team. It's right down the middle. There's no angle to cross it. You're too close to chip it up and over the wall to have somebody run onto it. And it's too far to have a shot. So now we're going to see what Bowen, if he can conjure up some magic. But there's very little left in the cards in this position.
Might require a second ball or a knockdown.
Yeah. Can he get it up and over and not let Molina get a piece of it?
He clips it in.
It's still so awkward, right?
It's hard to find a direct header from that angle.
Yes. I always hate it. I always like a direct free kick. But in that instance, I don't mind if you play it short and try to come around the sides.
Do a training ground routine. Get cute with it.
Just go out wide, you know?
Talbot bashing this forward. Jimenez and Burko and Medina grappling. And here is Jimenez for Westchester. Burko. Another free kick conceded. Final minute of the initial 45. It's taken short. Here's Evans. Is there any magic left on the cards for Westchester in what has been their best half of the season to date? Lofted long by Molina and right towards Talbot.
It's like tennis, keeper to keeper. I think Corpus Christi is trying to make sure this is the last attack. Well, it's 4 minutes, but still try to put Westchester on the ropes in their own defensive third. Try to pin them back, so even if they win the ball, there's nowhere to go.
4 minutes of stoppage time presented by Mar and Mar.
Just like we see there, even though they want it, can't get out of jail.
Cerritos tees one up right into the onrushing defender. Langlois spraying it wide, and the offside flag is up.
Now a coach will get an ulcer because Shannon Gomez is right in line with the centre-back. He can clearly see the back line. There is no reason why the wide player, when he has so much time, should get caught offside. Never.
It's been an unfortunate tale of the half for Corpus Christi. A lot of small things not breaking in their direction. And they have been second best through these opening 45 minutes and change. It is a Westchester side that did not achieve its first on-field home league victory until September 21st of last year. That was a 2-1 come-from-behind victory over Texoma. A lot of close calls in which they held the lead and ultimately wound up dropping points. Here tonight, though, they've been secure at the back and lethal in front of goal. This has been one of their better performances in the young club's history. See if they can carry it through the remainder of the 90, though. Roscoe carrying it forward now. Bowen.
Oh,
that is crafty. And still Bowen looking for an angle to shoot and rattles the post. That would have been a wonder strike from Blake Bowen had it gone.
Sam, if that's scored, it'll be on repeat on Sports Center from now until next week, Friday. He splits two defenders. This is the end of the run, and he almost just caresses it into that far post. Look at him. Oh, it kisses the post, but Bowen, take a bow. It didn't score, but we can enjoy the aesthetics of it.
It was a fantastic effort, and he was not far off from putting that top bins.
Oh, beautiful.
See the numbers on your screen. And I think this is an example of stats maybe not telling the entire first half story. We've spoken about the possessional divide, not to mention they only have one less shot than Westchester, but the chance quality has been vastly different between the two sides. And now Evans looking to tee up Jimenez again.
This is the last play, if Jimenez is not careful.
Has runners with him in the form of Noah Powder.
Well, if they're not too careful, the referee's going to blow this off. And maybe that's what they want.
Here in the final minute of the added 4. Sprayed long, Burko chasing. Just mistimed it, and he was offside anyways. It has been an underwhelming half from the visitors. It has been a decisive half from the hosts. The question is, going into halftime, does Ayman Zayed have anything up his sleeve? He's without perhaps the biggest ace in his deck, with Christian Chaney not in the squad. This is clipped ahead by Kwakwa, headed on, off the crossbar. It's not dealt with yet. Cerritos for Kwakwa again, and this one squirts in. There is life for Corpus Christi, who have the deficit on the stroke of halftime.
Well, Kwakwa, known for breaking up plays in midfield, a destroyer. They've been knocking on the door. We had Bowen hitting the post. This header comes off the crossbar. I mean, Molina's lost his bearings, and what a strike by Kwakwa. He keeps it down right between the wickets of Molina, who lost his bearings when the ball hit the crossbar here. and never regained it. And what a strike by Kwakwa to keep the pressure on. He put his laces right through it and right between the arms of Molina. And now, game on in the second half.
You said it best, partner. Game on in Westchester after a dominant opening 45 minutes from the Golden Apple, in which they took a 2-0 lead. They concede with the final kick of the first half. Enoch Kwakwa has pulled Corpus Christi back into this, and at halftime, presented by the CPR Foundation, we find ourselves in a tight one. We'll take a quick breather. When we return, a look around USL League One here on the halftime show.
$300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, and we're on the halftime show presented by the Community Police Relations Foundation. Our scoreline reads Westchester 2, Corpus Christi 1. On our halftime show, it gives us a chance to take a look around USL League One, and how about we take a peek at the USL League One halftime update here from Westchester County.
It is halftime in USL League One. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines for this week. Two more expansion clubs notched their first victories in Week 4. New York Cosmos defeated Fort Wayne FC 2-0, thanks in part to legendary USL player Sebastian Guinzotti, who scored a goal, his first for the Cosmos since 2016, before that historic franchise's rebirth in League One this year. And Sarasota Paradise topped Portland Hearts of Pine 1-0. That's 4 points in 3 matches for Sarasota, the most among the league's 5 expansion clubs this season. League One stunned the U.S. Open Cup with more cup sets this week, highlighted by Charlotte Independence and Vigo Ortiz's 118th minute goal to sink Charleston Battery from the championship in round 2. Let's take a look at the clubs from League One and the championship that are headed to the 3rd round. And a look at our upcoming national TV schedule. El Clamico returns on Saturday the 25th, this time in the Prinks Tires USL Cup. That's a look at the headlines for this week. Let's get you back to your match for the second half. With the field for World Cup 2026 now set, the USL can enjoy its place in the countdown to history. Never before has an active USL player taken part in a World Cup, until now. For the past 2.5 years, more than 30 players from USL Championship and League One battled through World Cup qualifying. This summer, 6 of them have a chance to hit the field for their respective country. Miami FC teammates Eloy Rom and Jurgen Locadia made history, helping Curacao qualify for the World Cup for the first time ever. Curacao will face Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador in group play. And for the first time since 1974, Haiti will take part in the World Cup, following a very unique road through qualifying. 4 championship players, Duke Lacroix and Garvin Matusala of Colorado Springs, Delence Pierre from FC Tulsa, and Carl Sente from New Mexico United, led Haiti through qualifying without playing a home match. Now the Haitian team faces a tough group at the World Cup with matches against Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. But while World Cup qualifying owned the spotlight in late March, several USL players took part on U.S. youth national teams, also on the world stage. Colton Swan of Charleston Battery scored a goal for the U.S. Under-20 team against Argentina in Argentina. Orange County SC's Tyson Espy played for the Under-17 team in Paraguay. And the U.S. Under-18 team played in Portugal, featuring Ramiz Hamuda from Birmingham Legion, Brandon Days of Louisville City, and Jameer Johnson from Orange County SC.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
The header is down! It's in! Charleston take the lead and stop! Nice ball, Cindy! Doubles the Rowdies lead!
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
We welcome you back to Westchester County. We're on the halftime show presented by the Community Police Relations Foundation. Our scoreline reads Westchester 2, Corpus Christi 1. Time to continue our look around the league with a look at our halftime score update. In USL League One, here is your look at the ongoing fixtures. New York Cosmos winning by a 3-2 scoreline on Friday night. A hat trick of Ashmir Spengler penalties making the difference. Meanwhile, at halftime, FC Naples a 1-0 cushion against Greenville. Still no score between Sarasota Paradise and 1 Knox. And then in terms of what's upcoming for the remainder of the weekend, a pair of matches tonight. AC Boise at 9 p.m. Eastern, kicking off their home slate against Spokane Velocity. That is the banner matchup of the week on ESPN+. And then we round things out with League One After Dark with AV Alta hosting Union Omaha. That completes a jam-packed match week 5 in USL League One. Well, at halftime here, it is still a narrow cushion for Westchester. Pegged back just before the break. They've got work to do as we head into the second half. Stick with us when we return and look back at the 45 minutes that just transpired.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health, so we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Behind every one of them was a handshake, not a handcuff. Understanding instead of fear.
We all know the narrative we usually see. Negative interactions dominate the conversation.
Because the truth is, the good doesn't always trend, but it's just as real. At one of our youth events, I asked a group of kids a simple question. When a police car rolls by, what's the first thing you think or do? One young boy raised his hand and yelled, "Run away."
But after spending time with our officers, his answer changed. That's how you know this impact is real.
Every family fed, every young athlete mentored, it's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Welcome back to Westchester County, where at halftime, Westchester SC holds a 2-1 lead against Corpus Christi, the new kids on the block. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis on hand. Time to look back at our halftime highlights. And Ryan, a rapid start for Westchester. 2 goals separated by just 2 minutes.
Yeah, the tricky Evans and the tricky Jimenez are the ones pulling the strings. Jimenez got the better of Gomez. Gomez was always behind in that race. Brought down penalty, and McGlynn, classy as ever, looks to the left, goes to his right. Talbot had no chance.
3 of 3 from the spot for Connor McGlynn this season, including the shootout Wednesday night. And then 2 minutes later, the Kyle Evans show took center stage.
Yeah, he's been drifting as a real number 10 from left to right. He was on the left a little while ago, this time to the right. And look at it, uses his peripheral and puts it right in the space for Jimenez to tuck it home to make it 2-0.
Jimenez opens his Westchester account. Another assist for Kyle Evans, who has been a revelation on the young season for the Golden Apple. Westchester would control large spells of the half, but then Enoch Kwakwa pulling one back on the stroke of halftime.
I love what they did. They kept peppering, using diagonal balls. This one hits the crossbar. Molina's completely out of sorts here. And Kwakwa rifles this one through the goalkeeper, who never caught back his bearings after chasing the ball on the crossbar here. And I have to say, the defensive midfielder, his technique was impeccable. And now, Corpus Christi has a whole different discussion at halftime compared to being down 2-0.
Well, we'll see how that affects the performance in the second half. That undoubtedly will be a confidence booster for Enoch Kwakwa, who scores his 12th professional goal. You look at the stats, and they don't necessarily tell the full story, because it did feel like Westchester had the bulk of that first half under control, but a lot of the numbers favor the visitors here.
Yeah, but Westchester's possession, they got behind the defense. You see those shots on target? That means they're testing Talbot. That one shot that got through the traffic, that got the better of Molina, means that Westchester was keeping Corpus Christi in front of them and never really got behind that back line.
It will be interesting to see how things change in the second half. Obviously, that goal is a major confidence booster, but a full halftime for both these coaches to oversee everything.
Can we talk about Bowen's effort that hit the post though? I mean, absolutely remarkable effort by Boeing from the left, cutting into the right, kissed it off the far post. Just magic from the left winger.
And that came moments before the Kwakwa tally, so we could be having a totally different conversation had that one found the back of the net. We await our referee signal to get everything underway. Luis Arroyo overseeing all of the action. No real controversial decisions thus far. The penalty was pretty stonewall, and other than that, he's had little to do. We are back underway. Westchester now from right to left on your screen. Corpus Christi from left to right. Sam Goldfarb, Ryan Davis taking you the remainder of this one. It was a fast start for Westchester, but as we mentioned in the highlight package, Corpus Christi showing life at the end of the opening 45. And now they stroll forward through the goal scorer, Kwakwa. Tries again from afar.
Kwakwa having visions of the first half, this time trying from 35 yards rather than 25 yards.
One was awfully audacious.
Yeah. He saw his name in the back page of the paper of the Corpus Christi Times, and he's like, you know, why not?
If that one goes in, he might make the front page.
Yeah.
Here's Gomez. An up and down first half. Conceded that penalty that set up McGlynn from the spot. And the whistle sounds against Corpus Christi there.
Now you can understand that Corpus Christi want to continue that momentum that they had from the first half. They're all energized. The coaches had them all riled up in that halftime talk. Now it's time for Westchester to get back control of the game. You cannot be coy. You cannot get into a shell. You have to match the intensity of Corpus Christi, or there'll be more traffic coming towards your goal than you going forward.
It is an interesting balance of how you play with a lead and manage the match without inviting excessive pressure. And last season, they had a 2-0 lead on this ground against AV Alta. In similar fashion, conceded in first half stoppage time, wound up losing that match 5-2 because they sat off, invited that pressure, and then ultimately, as they chased the match, were caught out on the counter. So it will be interesting how George Jokai manages this. Of course, this is his first time experiencing this scenario in his first year as head coach.
Way back when, the old saying was you could never defend a 1-goal lead. Now, in modern football, you cannot defend a 2-goal lead.
They say it's the most dangerous lead in all of football. Sometimes people say that's a bit of a cliche, but in many respects, it is applicable. Here's Burko. And this is Jimenez, and it appears Westchester will chase this. Burko is slipped in. Quality save there. That was the chance to make it 3.
Sam, you always go across the keeper's body, make him save in that direction. More often than not, you find the last post. If not, you have a white shirt following up to tap it in. This time, Burko went to the near post, and Talbot did a great save with the feet. But you have to say he had that first post all covered already.
It is interesting he didn't try to drag it across. Burko has goal scorer's instincts, double-digit tallies a year ago at Hofstra, and of course, to open this year in the Open Cup, bagged a brace against New York Renegade in the opening round, but doesn't take his moment there as Dickerson concedes the free kick to Keegan. Well, fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to uslchampionship.com or uslleague1.com for the complete USL TV listings.
Well, this is a lot better angle for Bowen to use than he had in the first half. Remember, we talked about that awkward stage. It's more than enough length for him to get it up and over and find a centre-back running on to that left edge or right edge of that 6-yard box. The delivery here has to be just beyond the penalty spot. Beautiful delivery.
It is a great delivery, and it sits up nicely for Medina, but there were Westchester players waiting. Kwakwa again. Well, that was probably more audacious than the previous attempt.
Don't tell Kwakwa that, though.
His confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
It is interesting. He's not known as a goal scorer during his time in Northern Colorado.
Don't tell Kwakwa that, though, because he thinks he is a goal scorer now.
Well, anytime you bang it from 25 yards and it squirts in, I think it would convince anyone they're a goal scorer. Here's Molina, who was pitching a perfect game until that Kwakwa effort, which perhaps he could have done better with.
It just seems that Westchester has lost their way. They were doing a lot better with McGlynn and company controlling the center circle, maneuvering the ball out wide, bringing it back in. Now they've coughed it up to Corpus Christi, who seem more than happy. I mean, yes, they give up the ball here, but they seem more than happy now to have to be on the ball and start dictating the tempo of this game. And now Evans is turned into a counter-attack, attacking midfielder.
It feels like the onus falls on someone like him to grab the match by the scruff of the neck.
Actually, a little bit deeper. I mean, the centre-backs and the defensive midfielders have to be more assertive in winning the ball, and when they do, decisions to go out wide or go direct has to be taken there.
Medina plays this forward, and there's space for Bowen now. Kwakwa. He's playing with the wind in his sails at the moment. Keeney. Langwa. Was a key fixture in midfield a year ago for Portland Hearts of Pine. Prior to that, made his League One debut with Northern Colorado Hailstorm under the tutelage of Ayman Zayed. It was mentioned he wants players with a chip on their shoulder, and it's unsurprising that he's brought in a few familiar faces from those Northern Colorado squads of 2-3 years past. McGlynn has issues clearing this, and Powder awkwardly escorts it back to Molina. All's well that ends well.
Well, a chance for Molina to slow things down. Remember, keepers manage the game, whether tempo to go out wide when they're down a goal, or slow things down and punt to the corners when you're up a goal. You certainly don't want Evans taking your throw-ins. You want your fullbacks to take that responsibility. And thankfully, Noah Powder stepped in.
Noah Powder's incredibly versatile. Oddly enough, made his League One debut under Ayman Zayed's tutelage with Northern Colorado before making the move to Westchester last year. Here's Samori Powder, his brother. Armas looks ahead, clearing only as far as Noah Powder. Darts past one. McGlynn. Room to cross for Jennings. Right to Gomez, though. This is the response, though, I'm sure George Jokai would have been hoping for. Westchester first to a lot of these second balls now, and another free kick waits.
Excellent officiating. He waited as long as he could to see if there was an advantage. As soon as the advantage dried up, he brought it back, and now it's a free kick in a dangerous spot for Westchester. And you brought up the Powders before. They're the perfect type of players for Coach Jokai. Adventurous, good on the ball, romantic, just like he is.
Two in the vicinity. It is one of the Powder brothers in Noah and Alexi Armas. The latter takes. It's not the best of deliveries. It's flicked along, though, to Evans. Lays it back off to Jimenez.
It was not Kwakwask-like from outside, have to say.
Not quite. Here's another appetizing cross, though, in this right to Talbot. Might take more to beat him from that sort of range. Well, if you're Ayman Zayed, what do you feel the team talk was like at halftime? Because it was a first half that, for large spells, wasn't good enough, but they do have the late celebration.
I believe the last 10 minutes of the first half was what he wanted to replicate. The intensity in midfield, and then going down the sides, like they talked about, with Boeing especially. Let him dictate things. And then with Boeing dictating, you have people like Medina and Cerritos that could come short and play off of his shoulder. Or, if not, he's going to get to the byline and cross. However, try to get the ball out to the left-hand side. And if not, you have players like Kwak and so on following through with passes and shots.
Burko's upended there. Whistle sounds against Keeney.
But I do think the intensity by Corpus Christi in midfield and the back line is what got them back in this match. winning the ball, keeping possession, pegging this Westchester team back, and really starting to dictate. I mean, they finished up with 55% possession, and it was Westchester who won the ropes at the end of the first half.
Cerritos charging ahead. Max Jennings is there.
Now understand this though, because Corpus Christi is coming forward looking for an equalizer, there's always an opportunity for Westchester to counter-attack with Evans, Busco, and Powder out wide, and so too Jimenez, who won the penalty. Those four can counter-attack and easily get a third goal and tuck this thing to bed.
There is plenty of firepower on the break. And we've already seen it in the form of Evans and Jimenez tonight.
So the clock is ticking for Corpus Christi to get an equalizer, because sooner or later there's going to be an errant pass picked off, and then we're off to the races on the other side.
Well, here is an error, and Jimenez looking to make the most of it. Has some runners in support as well. Has Burko through the middle.
Credit for the blue shirts that get back though. That is intensity in itself.
Terrific transition defending. Westchester forced to settle into their build through Noah Powder.
Question is this though, it takes so much effort and energy. If it takes a long period of time to find an equalizer, does the team have that stamina? And we talked about the stamina of this Corpus Christi team, the lack thereof in finding an equalizer. It can really take a lot out of them for the next 20 minutes.
May leave them vulnerable on the break. Jimenez gives this away. Maybe numbers now through the middle for Corpus Christi. Bowen has been the standout for the Sharks so far.
He's so confident on the ball, Sam. I mean, he wants it. He wants a touch every time the ball crosses the half. And as a coach, you want your attacking players, your creative players to have that mentality. Pep Guardiola always used the Lionel Messi example. Lionel Messi always wants to touch the ball. When the ball goes out wide, his desire to get into the box and finish is more than anybody else on both sides.
One look at him and you would not know he's a listed fullback. Here is another fullback in Gomez. Long-time USL Championship experience before making the move to League One this year. Keeney keeps it on the ground. Samori Powder away. There's no one there to chase it in white. And it may become a prolonged defensive shift from Westchester here. Inching towards the final 30 minutes. It is still Westchester 2-1 to the good, but Corpus Christi pressing the issue. Evans nearly got there.
Little disjointed with Evans and Busco up top. They seem to be pulling away from the pack in midfield. That midline, that midfield is not pushing up close to Evans and Busco. So the press is disjointed.
Cerritos just untangled themselves from Dickerson. And now out wide. Cut back to what appeared to be Kwakwa. And now Jimenez the other direction. McGlynn left it dangling.
And now players like Conor McGlynn, who are very good with the ball at their feet, they're spending the last 10 minutes defending. His rhythm is now gone. He gets the ball to his feet. He's nonchalant, dispossessed. Now he has to get back and defend yet again for another sequence from Corpus Christi.
And for all the talk about Corpus Christi maybe punching themselves out, so to speak, it does take a lot of energy to defend and suffer and cover ground and
react.
That could also result in some concentration lapses, as we mentioned off the top with Corpus Christi's defensive woes in the final stages.
Yeah, and with Corpus Christi dictating and Westchester reacting.
Cerritos is hoping to dictate more. Keeney wide. It's a menacing cross, but overhit. And Samori Powder, a professional move to win a set piece. And now our referee has brandished another yellow card. Starting to lose patience.
Well, the sheer tug off the ball. The referee has been on the spot. That is his second yellow card in either half that he's given out for sheer tugging or off the ball incidents.
It is Charlie Dickerson who's been shown the yellow card. Someone who's fluctuated between fullback and center back all year. Armas worked his way into a more consistent starting role in the heart of midfield alongside McGlynn in that dual pivot. Evans, too much trickery for his own good. Ryan, we've hit the hour mark, and you've mentioned it. It just looks like Westchester's been off the pace since the restart.
That goal coming towards the end of the first half. Talk about exactly what Corpus Christi needed. And the last thing Westchester wanted. Now doubt starts to creep into your mind. Now the other team is so much more energized. Do you have the energy to match that? And what we've seen so far in the first 15 minutes of the second half is Westchester hasn't been able to match Corpus Christi's output in the first 15 minutes because they got that goal towards the end of the first half.
They look long here, and chasing after it's Keegan. Fortunate that Molina was off his line.
Well, Molina is very much that modern sweeper keeper for this Westchester team to play a high back line.
Talked to George Jokai. He says of the two goalkeepers, he's much more comfortable with Molina playing with his feet. It's no slight on Hammersley, who's regarded for his shot stopping. Langua. Looking long again. Gomez, first time cross. It's not a bad one. Powder out of trouble. And Jimenez dispossessed by Kwakwa. Starting to enforce the midfield now.
Again, the white shirts are just reacting, having to cover ground, chase shadows. And Corpus Christi is growing in stature. Every time they get a touch of the ball, everyone's feeling a little bit more confident. And now Westchester's pinned back in their own defensive third. Like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, even if they get a foot to it, there's no avenue to get the ball out.
Cerritos. It's intercepted.
And there's that avenue closed up again.
To Westchester's credit, for all the time they've spent chasing, they have been very organized. Has been difficult for Corpus Christi to carve out a way through. Even the goal, a product of happenstance and good fortune rather than anything else. You see Ayman Zayed on the touchline, calmly urging his men on. As mentioned, he wants to be an incredibly difficult team to play against. They don't want to cede opportunities too consistently. I think the opening 20 wasn't good enough, but since then, they've grown into this. They look forward again. Cerritos wins a corner. Well, with each passing second, I think Westchester fans are experiencing a familiar match script, having a lead at home and watching it slowly unravel.
They are desperate for a good sequence themselves, whether it's a meaningful counter-attack or just to win the ball back and keep some possession.
It is Bowen, who's been the standout for Corpus Christi all night. Outswinger, floating to the back post. There was a touch from Roscoe, but nothing more. And now Westchester bringing on fresh legs. Jonathan Jimenez, the goal scorer, is off. He is replaced by Ermin Makic, and meanwhile Dean Guzin, the creative number 10, is also entering for Westchester. So fresh legs in that attacking midfield trio as the Golden Apple look to revolutionize things.
Well, Makic is certainly one of the younger players. Talk about fresh legs who can get behind the ball, who can press and recover. I can understand why Jimenez, one of the creative players, being sacrificed.
It's Jimenez and Samori Powder who vacate, so a pair of changes on the flanks. The two-man crew of Kyle Evans and Daniel Burko remains intact. It appears they're just hoping for some heavy reinforcements on the wings to help the fullbacks.
Well, Kwezen is a natural right-sided player who plays either right midfield or right wing. So it's a perfect right wing for right wing scenario or swap with no powder for Gwezin.
Well, fans, 2026 Westchester Soccer Club season tickets are now on sale. Don't miss your chance to be part of our historic season at Memorial Field in Mount Vernon. Catch all of the action and all of the fun starting at just $15 per game. Tickets are selling fast. Visit westchestersc.com for more information. What a strike that is! And that may just wrap it up in astonishing fashion. Well, if there wasn't a better advertisement for Westchester Soccer Club than that, I don't know what you're seeing.
He's been buying his time like a lion in the cave, just waiting for the lamb to pass by. And Conor McGlynn sniffed out the lamb and buried it. They've been sitting coy. They give him half a chance and put his laces right through it, and a lobbing volley. Talbot froze into the spot and it tucked in so sweetly into the corner. And Conor McGlynn with a penalty and now a volley for the ages maybe is enough to put this Corpus Christi team to bed.
It is a brace for Conor McGlynn, capped by a volley against the grain of play. And that is the action and the fun you can experience when you come to Memorial Field, because that was astonishing from Conor McGlynn.
I mean, we saw Bowen almost scored a worldie in the first half. That was a worldie that was scored by Conor McGlynn. He has the confidence after converting a penalty in the first half. Now he gets the volley, and he hit that volley to perfection. He had the perfect bounce with a perfect trap to begin with, and to put his laces through it and get that looping shot to completely come for Phil Talbot was picture perfect.
Conor McGlynn take a bow. He's doubled his season goal tally in 66 minutes. A penalty in the 16th and a wonder strike in the 65th. And just like that, Westchester 3-1 to the good. And any momentum Corpus Christi had has just been snuffed out. McGlynn.
Well, we're talking about possession for Corpus Christi. If they don't score, what's going to happen with an errant pass? What's going to happen with a counter-attack? Or what's going to happen when a world-class player like Conor McGlynn gets a look and goal? Well, that's what happens. That's the pressure that this Corpus Christi team was on to find an equalizer in meaningful time.
There's a player now down for Corpus Christi. It appears to be a cramping issue. But for those that are just joining us, you've missed what easily is the goal of the week in USL League One to date. Conor McGlynn. Yep, you can sing the SportsCenter song all you want. It's definitely getting clipped on there.
And Bowen, it didn't score, but I think Bowen's effort was terrific. That hit the post, by the way, in that first half. Splitting two defenders and almost bending it into the last post. Didn't score, but it deserves a look on SportsCenter as well.
What a series of efforts we've seen in this game. Of course, the Kwakwa effort, which was deflected in, and then that effort, which is one of the most aesthetically pleasing goals you'll see all week.
I think that lends us to believe the quality that's in USL League One. It shows the landscape of US soccer, of what to expect now. Yes, we all look at the horizon at MLS and USL Championship, but just below the surface, they have this incredible bit of talent. And we learn to have goals like McGlynn and so on, and conjure up sounds of ta-da-dan, ta-da-dan, every night on USL League One.
Well, you get your SportsCenter moment here, Ryan.
Well, here he comes. Conor McGlynn buying his time, and here comes the Lion. Picture perfect. Talbot could only stand and stare as 3-1 tucked home beautifully. Good night, good fight.
That is a moment of world-class talent from Conor McGlynn. And for all of the memorable moments he's produced for Westchester Soccer Club during his time in Westchester County, I think that has to take the cake.
Icing, cherries, the whole thing, the table, the chair, and the cake as well. And the fact that they were playing rope-a-dope with Corpus Christi just throwing body shots, keeping all the possession and so on, and they were chasing shadows, getting tired, and to throw that punch and land it, courtesy Conor McGlynn, was special.
It's a haymaker. It's the haymaker of all haymakers. And there's now a player being helped off for Corpus Christi. And it appears that he's in some considerable discomfort It is Boo Boo Medina, who's been the young star of the campaign, who's forced to exit for Tomas Pondeka. A like-for-like change in the midfield. And that's an unfortunate exit for Medina, who's been one of the more impactful players for the Sharks tonight.
Pondeka has that very, very close control, almost futsal-like. So he can play in tight spaces. And maybe that's exactly what they need, because this Westchester team are now going to sit back for the next 20 minutes. Not entirely, but they're really going to compress the field a little bit. Someone like Pondeka is just the type of person you want to come in and play in tight spaces to create for others.
3-1 as we enter the final 20 minutes. Sam Goldfarb, Brian Davis on hand. If you're just tuning in, you've missed one of the best goals you'll see in USL League One all month. Connor McGlynn, a worldie from outside the area to double Westchester's lead. And since then, unfortunately, Corpus Christi forced into a change. Their standout, Medina's exit. He's been replaced by Pondeka, the native of Flower Mound, Texas. Evans tried to get creative, and there was no one to greet that back heel.
And now it allows someone like Evans, who was on the ropes with his team for the last, let's say, 15 minutes, now play with a bit of swagger. A 2-goal lead, 20 minutes to go. Now he can get the ball with space as Corpus Christi pushes up to try and find an equalizer.
Alexi Armas may have a long throw in his locker. He's flashed it on occasion, and he'll go with it here toward Burko, who ran right into the back of his defender.
How could you, Burko? There was no reason for that. They were so far in their own half, and they'll have to play out from the back with Keeney. Instead, you give up a free kick, and now they get out of jail.
Makic. Westchester, since the goal, knocking it about with supreme confidence. Here's the Yonkers, New York native Makic, who did score last week in that defeat against Greenville. Burko. Evans can't untangle himself from the convoy of defenders. Makic wins it back, though. Well, fans, the USL and the CBS Sports Network kicks off on April 18th with an Eastern Conference showdown. Charleston Battery takes on Tampa Bay Rowdies at 3 p.m. Eastern. Catch the action on the CBS Sports Network on April 18th. Well, Ryan, we've been treated to some fantastic action here through about 75 minutes. And as we've already mentioned, Connor McGlynn has given us the pick of the lot in terms of standout moments. Cerritos looking to carve out an avenue back into this, and he does play it wide. That cross awkwardly falls across the face, and somehow no one is there to turn it in. Was that the moment for Corpus Christi to bring themselves right back into the match?
I think you're right. That was a golden opportunity to bring this thing to 3-2 and create doubt in Westchester's minds. Well, on this left-hand side, they decide to go out wide to Bowen. And that was a lazy ball back in from the number 2. It falls kindly, when I say kindly, for Robledo. And I tell you what, from that distance, Sam, you have to put it on target. You have to make the keeper save from just outside 7-8 yards.
Later, Robledo in a great position. The native of Cartagena in Colombia, who spent the first 5 seasons of his professional career in the top 2 divisions of Colombian football. That was a chance to open his account in the United States on his first appearance with Corpus Christi.
Maybe a tough angle, sure, but you have to put it on goal, make the keeper save. Maybe the parry or the push will fall to a blue shirt for a tap-in.
You see those numbers on your screen. How about this? Almost double the final third entries for Corpus Christi compared to Westchester.
That is impressive.
And when you think about the first half, in which they probably hardly had final third entries for the opening 40 minutes, that makes it that much more remarkable. But still, Westchester so organized with the exception of the one Kwakwa chance. Here's Cerritos. Keegan knocks it along. More chances brewing for Bowen. Right at the goalkeeper, Molina.
Well, Jennings did a good job. He was quick as lightning to get right up onto Bowen's doorstep. He forced Bowen to his weaker left foot. And as soon as he went to the byline, Molina just anticipated the cross coming in. Perfect defending.
Burko nods this along. Inching towards the final 15 minutes from Westchester County. As of now, Westchester would claim their first victory of the league season. Meanwhile, Corpus Christi, who opens the season with 6 consecutive matches in all competitions away from home, would be left still waiting for that elusive first victory. Keep in mind, this side has overcome deficits in the past. Robledo, it's not a bad ball in. It's one that McGlynn and Timchenko were in the vicinity of, though. Throughout the year, Corpus Christi has never led. However, they have encountered 3 separate 1-goal deficits, including Union Omaha last week. This, though, would take a remarkable feat that they have not accomplished before. And Westchester, sensing that, going in a more defensive posture. They bring on Daniel Bauman, who will step into midfield, someone who actually played center back in the midweek as well.
But he's also a box-to-box type player. Talk about fresh legs that can chase, as well as when he wins it back, he has the technical ability to release the ball and relieve the pressure for Westchester.
He replaces Alexi Armas. That's like for like in midfield. McGlynn knocked along to Guzin, who has acres of space now. And navigating through traffic. That substitution presented by Benjamin Steakhouse, always a prime choice. Here's a turn. Guzin, McGlynn, knocked wide. Crafty from Guzin. It's not a bad cross either. Falls for Noah Powder. Knocks it along for Makic! 4 for Westchester, and it's all signed, sealed, and delivered.
Well, it all starts with Guizan on that right-hand side. He's so tricky. A little mouse on that side with a brilliant right foot. He buys himself some time. Look at him snap back towards the corner flag. Brilliant delivery. And Noah Powder heads up. The second touch into the pass. And what a cracker. Makic with a one-time strike. Look at that volley. Full of technique. Kept his head down, just like his under-14 coach would have told him to. Corner pocket, 3-1.
21-year-old Erman Makic, a native of nearby Yonkers, New York, on the score sheet. His second goal in as many league matches.
I take it back, 4-1. My apologies, Mr. Makic and Westchester. But I tell you what, their ability to convert in the final third has been the difference. Jimenez down the left-hand side, drawing the penalty on Gomez. That was the first one. Then you have someone like Evans, who just a little bit of daylight on the right-hand side, puts it right into the path of Jimenez to convert for 2-0. Then you had McGlynn, special, 3-1. And then you have Makic with a fantastic volley, tight space, someone right on top of him to convert to make it 4. That's the difference. Listen, defending, passing, tackling, tracking back, all great attributes. The hardest thing to do in this sport is scoring goals. And Westchester has shown to do that better than Corpus Christi for a longer period of time. Full stop.
Exceptionally clinical across the board. Obviously, they've created a lot of goal-scoring chances, but they haven't left any major chances on the table. As you see, Kwakwa is now down on the pitch. He's the lone goal scorer for Corpus Christi tonight. His former teammate, Noah Powder, is urging him back to his feet.
Well, those two will have a little discussion after the match. Two former teammates. There is a bond there. But once on the field, that bond is gone.
Barring a major collapse, Noah Powder will have the upper hand and bragging rights over his former Northern Colorado Hailstorm teammate and former Northern Colorado Hailstorm coach. 4 goals for Westchester in one of their best performances in club history.
There's a whole lot of Northern Colorado influence in this match. Coaches, players, and I tell you what though, it's been entertaining.
It absolutely has. And how about this now? Westchester tied for the most goals in USL League One.
We love it. Don't ever change, coach. Don't ever change your style and your philosophy. You will always have fans.
What a turnaround from last season, by the way. And obviously, there's still a long way to go. Obviously, there will be more litmus tests to come. But this is a Westchester side that last season slumped through the majority of USL League One, despite bringing in double-digit players with USL Championship, League One experience, spending big money to build a squad that on paper was one of the best in the league. And things did not go according to plan. They struggled to protect leads, and that was the unfortunate narrative of the season. A league-high 59 goals allowed, a good chunk of those from open play, giveaways, set pieces, just scenarios that no coach wants. And this year, starting to show some flashes of teeth. Here's another effort from afar, and that may have taken a deflection. Another corner on the way.
Well, now that it's 4-1, no one is playing apprehensive. They understand it's open season now. Everyone wants to score because of that 3-goal cushion.
They take this short. Guzin. Evans. Inside on his right. Bellman chasing after it. Does get there. Makic, the most recent goal scorer. Guzin again. Timchenko back into the path for Dean Guzin. What a team goal from Westchester. A 5-spot for the Golden Apple, and they are ripping Corpus Christi to shreds.
It may be the jewel on the crown for Westchester tonight. Tiki-taka football here. And look at the reverse pass. Guzin is going to make the run. He looks to the right and goes back to his left. Just stop it, Timchenko, and the finish matched the pass. The reverse and the finish to the far post. You always go across the keeper's body. Guzin heard us, and he executed. That is the jewel on the crown tonight for Westchester.
A second league goal of the season for Dean Guzin. Someone who boasts quality, a product of the Ajax and Feyenoord academies. 41 appearances in the Dutch second tier, the Eerste Divisie, and that quality on full display as Ayman Zayed makes a double swap. This is the most goals Westchester has scored in a match, and what a time for it when they were desperate for a response. Nacho Abeal, one of the two to enter for Corpus Christi.
And we talked about the lack of apprehension because of the 3-goal lead. Now they play with swagger, now they play with pizzazz. And that pass by Timchenko, a centre-back playing that, you know he's feeling that feeling.
Well, here's one of the substitutes and one of the players that you spotlighted earlier in Kahim Thomas, but that cross goes wayward. It's Thomas and Abeal who are in for Corpus Christi.
The cross was not Timchenko-like, let's just say.
It was not. I think Timchenko will watch that pass back on repeat the rest of the evening.
For the rest of the year.
How many times do you see a center back pull that off?
That was beautiful. Look to your right and reverse it left. The entire back line and midfield line was drifting to the left, and they all were like, stop, and had to go back the other way. And by that time, Guzin was in on goal, and he took his chance.
Well, for those that are just joining us, you have missed a Westchester masterclass. It was 2-1 at halftime, and a yellow card is out in the direction of a Corpus Christi player. Some frustration starting to bubble over. But since the restart, after a promising spell for Corpus Christi, any resistance was put on the back burner following Connor McGlynn's long-range banger. Ermin Makic and Dean Guzin have struck within 4 minutes of one another, and this result is not in any semblance of doubt at the moment. Here's Thomas. One of those standouts on this Corpus Christi roster who has started once. Abeal chasing it, and McGlynn pokes it out for a corner.
Now if you're Corpus Christi, you already have to look to the next match. You want to get something going here, a feel-good feeling when you go into Monday morning practice. So you want to try to execute a goal, and this man has been the player of the match for Corpus Christi. He certainly does not deserve the L, but can he create something now?
It's not a bad delivery. It is one that Guzin is first to, though. Brian Vasquez, the newest substitute for Westchester, is a few footsteps behind that.
8 shots on target for Westchester to Corpus Christi's 1. And Corpus Christi, 57% possession to Westchester's 43. It just shows quality rather than quantity. And that 2-goal cushion set the tone to have that quality.
Here's Guzin again, playing with a world of confidence. Cross takes a touch. Makic laying it back inside. There's a chase for it. Blumstein was in the vicinity, but a fortunate hop back to Talbot.
Well, it's like practice now with rondos in the middle of the park. And they just couldn't convert there, but they got right on top of the doorstep yet again to convert.
They have cut through Corpus Christi with ease in the final half hour. And McGlynn has been top quality across the night. There were a lot of doubts surrounding talking points about Westchester's rebuild, right? Obviously, let a lot of established veterans go. They brought in players from the college ranks, a heavy Westchester influence, 10 players with ties to the Westchester area. George Jokai mentioning that he takes pride in winning matches, but he also takes pride in developing talent as a former coach at Youth Club FC Westchester himself. And so there were questions about how this team would perform, and through the first few matches, there were shaky performances there. But here tonight, they've put forth one of the best performances, if not the best, in club history. And despite putting out an 11 with an average age of just over 24 years old, they have performed better than perhaps any match we saw last season. It's just jaw-dropping what we've seen from Westchester tonight.
My jaw has dropped a few times. The Bowen effort, the McGlynn effort, and that icing on the cake by Guzin was just special. Take a bow, Timchenko. That was probably the best assist, I think, or maybe of your career.
How many assists do center backs get, to be fair?
That's why I took the chance and said that.
Have to give him his plaudits when he has moments. And he's been an exceptional defender as well. Corner here for Corpus Christi in the dying embers. In-swinger, knocked away. Another bite at the apple. This is menacing, and Molina gets a much-needed palm to it.
Important. That delivery was right on top of Molino's kitchen. And he came out, he made sure his centre-backs were taken care of, took the pressure off of them, got a fist to it, gave up the corner, but didn't concede a goal or a clear chance.
Robledo, another crack at the apple. This time an outswinging ball, presented by Ice Air. Still loose. Abeal appeals for handball, and right at Molina. That corner kick presented by Ice Air, keeping every play cool and comfortable. Well, Ryan, you look ahead for Corpus Christi. The seemingly never-ending road spell continues. They take on Sarasota Paradise on April 22nd in Sarasota. Then their Brinks Cup opener at Chattanooga on the 25th. And then finally they're at home for their opener against Spokane Velocity on May 2nd. For Westchester, it's right back at home against Sarasota on Wednesday. So quick turnaround there.
So let's talk about Corpus Christi. You go to the 50 or 45-degree dreary northeast to the sunny west coast of Florida and Sarasota. Talk about a change of temperature and climate. Sarasota, though, have to come in here and face a Westchester team now that just hung 5 on Corpus Christi. They're raring to go for Wednesday already, as soon as this whistle blows off. So I think Sarasota has another thing coming. When they do step into this arena on Wednesday, they better be prepared to raise their intensity and their standard to match Westchester.
It is a Sarasota side that currently trails 1-0 at home against One Knox, the defending champions. That's a side that came into this building and beat Westchester by a 3-2 scoreline, although the end result was a lot more comfortable than that when you actually watch the performance. It will be quite the test for the expansion club.
Granted, that was the first match of the season. Understand Coach Jokai, as well as this Westchester team, had to find its way. And with this win, there comes a time when you have to stand up and say, this is who I am. And Westchester has done that tonight. This can be the time when they stick their cleats in the ground and say, no longer are we going to be pushed back.
Bauman overzealous in his attempts to win that back. To your point as well, at halftime of that opening fixture, George Jokai admitted to us that it was an aha moment. He started to figure out the best way to assemble this team. A big part of that was Kyle Evans playing through the middle, and you have seen improved performances since. And obviously the Greenville result was something they would like to put on the back burner, but Since then, a hard-fought result in a hostile environment in the Open Cup, and now they've put forth the pièce de la résistance of their campaign to date. Ticking towards the 90-minute threshold, it will all be at our fourth official's discretion how much longer we play. Stoppage time presented by Mar, and it is 5 minutes. And the question is, can Westchester make it more than 5 come evening's end?
Question is, can you top the quality of the type of goals we've seen tonight from Westchester? They've been incredible. Even Kwakwa's goal was fantastic. I mean, went through the arms of Molina, but the ball before the header hit the crossbar, completely took Molina right out of the play. And then Kwakwa's shot was full of power and accuracy as well.
Cerritos' effort rolls tamely to Molina, who hasn't had much to do aside from the Kwakwa chance. And outside of that, has hardly put a foot wrong. It is going to be quite the goalkeeping battle to watch in Westchester. Andrew Hammersley currently leads the league, or led the league entering tonight with 16 saves. Meanwhile, Molina has made a bit of a name for himself this week. 2 saves in the shootout against Vermont Green in the second round of the US Open Cup. And then they've built on that with a strong display for him between the sticks tonight. And the XG numbers are actually jaw-dropping. It's 1.99 to 0.74. I think we've had slight overperformances both ways.
And Corpus Christi has 485 passes compared to Westchester's 372. But I think the 2 goal cushions set the tone though. That means they could have stepped back just a little bit. Corpus Christi got onto the ball, to their credit, took control of the first half at the end of the first half.
Here's Robledo, chipped cross, laid back across towards Pondeka. Kwakwa again from long range, wasn't far off.
But it always meant that Corpus Christi were going uphill to try and catch Westchester, and eventually you're going to get tired, or you're going to have a moment when you don't close down a quality player. Conor McGlynn answered that question.
Well, how about this? They just got fooled by the lines too. He took it from the wrong corner for a second.
You can't blame them, right? Is it the yellow, the white, or the red?
It's definitely the white. Robledo, an in-swinger. Kwakwa, that skews the wrong way. They're fortunate that didn't fall better for Guzin. He would have been away and clear midway through stoppage time. Guzin again, and this time looks long. Blumstein giving chase and winning the foot race. He's brought down. This may be a moment of reckoning now, and the straight red card is out. Denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and Corpus Christi will end the night with 10 men.
Now, this is the last thing any coach wants. You'd rather give up the goal than now have your centre-back red-carded and will miss the next match. So now you're short-handed at the back for the next game. The game was already lost.
It's Keeney.
And Keeney just, he just tugs at the shirt, he trips at the foot, he does whatever he can to stop the onslaught from continuing. But in the end, the red card now, and now the coach has to now be short-handed in selecting his defenders, already losing this match for the next match next weekend in Sarasota.
The Irish center back, Jack Keeney, has been sent off for denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. This is a free kick. McGlynn and Guzin in the vicinity. And that goes from bad to worse. Guzin looking for a 6th and forces a decent save out of Talbot. Another corner coming.
Well, he was hoping Talbot would cheat across to his left as he thought the ball would come up and over the wall, but Talbot held his ground.
Another corner presented by Ice Air, keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. This likely one of the final involvements going forward of the night. Brian Vasquez, the youngster who signed last season, stands over it. Arcs it in within swing. Talbot punches away. Only as far as Makic, one of the 4 different goal scorers tonight. Powder has played every minute. Vasquez looking for an angle to shoot, and just dispossessed at the 11th hour.
That was a great tackle by Longwa. He timed that slide tackle to perfection.
All at our officials' discretion. And there is the full-time whistle. Westchester with its best performance in club history. A 5-1 throttling of Corpus Christi to secure their first league victory of the year.
And Corpus Christi, what a time to bring this sort of performance up. Like you mentioned, still looking for those first 3 points. But those first 2 goals set the tone tonight between Jimenez and Evans. Of course, McGlynn converting from the spot. But they set the tone in the first 25 minutes of the match. That then allowed them to play with a 2-goal advantage, which allowed them to get 3 more goals as Corpus Christi look for that equalizer.
First league victory of the George Jokai era, and they accomplish it in style. We'll take a quick breather here from Westchester County. When we return, a look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired. A 6-goal thriller here in Mount Vernon.
.300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
Back here in Westchester County, where Westchester Soccer Club earns its first league victory of the season in some style. 5-1 victors against Corpus Christi in this key 6-pointer. Time to get a look at our full-time highlights. And Ryan, a fast start for Westchester, and then in the second half, they put it to bed.
Let's hope.
Westchester in the final 10 minutes. Dean Guzin with a scintillating link up here.
Well, Simchenko said, I'll have a piece of this. Reverse pass, and Guzin a left-footed drive by the right footer. That is the ruby on top of the crown for a fantastic Westchester performance.
Team high in terms of goals in a match by some margin. Westchester 5-1 victors. And despite the stats not favoring them on paper, that shots on target number is most indicative of how this went.
Yeah, it's their ability after the 2-goal cushion to then get behind the defense as Corpus Christi came forward looking for an equalizer. But give Evans and Jimenez credit though, for those 2 goals to score. They did cause a lot of problems with their pace and ball control to give them problems to get the first 2.
5-1 victory for Westchester. Corpus Christi ended the night with 10 men to the red card for Jack Keaty. For our terrific crew, as well as my broadcast partner Ryan Davis, Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Westchester County. What a performance, what a second half display in particular by Westchester. 5-1 victors in their best performance in club history. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Westchester, we say so long, Westchester dominant victors.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.